pretty smooth, I'm not gonna lie. Big difference from where it started for me.
Hey everyone, I'm Kat. I'm the CEO of Propel Bikes. We're here today in Brooklyn with Cargo Bike Mama,
Hi.
also known as Maddie. We're here today featuring the Urban Arrow FamilyNext. We just rode over here from the shop and I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Trying out the Urban Arrow FamilyNext for the first time, and the very first thing I noticed is it is a much smoother ride. And
Why is that?
There's a very important reason why that is.
It's got suspension.
Front suspension fork.
That is
Big
incredibly
improvement.
important. Gotta readjust after that suspension. When you're on the ride with the suspension, you don't need to readjust because you're not bouncing all over the place
That's right.
anymore.
New York City is bumpy. As I was cruising over here, it felt much smoother. It felt much more comfortable. So really excited about the new front suspension fork. Another great feature about the Urban Arrow FamilyNext is its emphasis on high-vis features. Number one, the new integrated LEDs, which is awesome. This allows for higher vis, especially as it gets darker. They also have integrated reflectors here, which is new. They did not have this before. And light is the same, but it's great to have this in addition to these other points of visibility. Increasing visibility is always a win.
The tires also have reflective sidewalls, so there's a reflective strip along the sides for increased visibility as well.
The new, more comfortable saddle. This is a Selle Royale. Selle Royale is like top of the line in terms of bike seats. It's thin, but also gel, which means it's really comfortable. So we can see this is gonna be a really smooth, squishy, nice ride. The foothold to climb into the bike is now near the seats, whereas before it was up front of the bucket. This makes for a much easier way for the kids to climb in, get into the bike themselves, as opposed to being lifted up and put in.
And especially when they get older, it becomes challenging to pick your kids up and put them in the bike.
Yeah, they're heavy.
And on the topic of weight, this bike does have a 550-pound weight capacity.
You can carry kids, you can carry cargo, groceries, furniture. I carry my mom in this bike. I carry everything. These bikes are like true car replacements.
What about the color?
The color. This is a brand new color. This beautiful green is a key statement color for Urban Arrow. It's a very elegant, clean, fresh color.
And this model will be available in black or sage green.
No more white.
No more white. And previously we were talking about children and carrying cargo, our precious cargo.
Yes.
You and I both being moms.
That's right.
Tell me, is this comfortable enough for kids to fall asleep in it?
Definitely. Kids love to fall asleep in cargo bikes. They're so comfortable. Now, especially with the added front suspension for this like smooth ride, we're gonna have napping and dozing and probably drooling kids like a lot. And I think like the bigger, wider bucket is really great for improving comfort for these kids who are riding in it. That's one thing that I noticed between this model and this one is that when they're really close together, there's more fighting. Now it's a little bit more spacious.
A little bit more space.
Maybe we'll have a little bit less fighting. That's gonna be great.
One thing that's extremely noticeable comparing this model to the original model is the sleek design.
And you know what else is really cool is they raised up the backrest to make it more comfortable for the kids. So that's a really great feature because kids get in, they want to like put their heads on the side, they want to be comfortable, and it looks like this model is really designing for more space, more comfort, and that's great. I know that it has a couple of accessories. Obviously it has the rain cover, which is great. It also has the traditional bench and the front bench, allowing for up to 3 kids.
Yeah, 3 kids pretty comfortably. 4 kids if you have small children. You can actually put a rear carrier on the back and carry an additional child. So this bike carries up to 5 children. Ideally, you're sitting with probably 2 or 3 children, but it can carry more.
The other thing to note, this one is also available to install the baby racks.
The Maxi cozi adaptor, so you can also add a child seat. So starting from infancy, you can carry your children safely around.
That's a really big thing because a lot of people have multiple kids and they want to be able to ride with their newborn baby or their infant or 3 months, depending on whatever individual's comfort level is. A really cool new way in which the harness connects, because this was a real pain point for families. The original one was just harder to connect, harder to release. This one is easy, but not too easy.
Absolutely.
Right? Not too easy. So one thing to note is that they're magnetic, which
easy enough for your kids to connect it
themselves. Yeah.
But challenging enough that they'll have a little bit of a tougher time disconnecting it.
Yes. And the other thing to note is that the way in which the harness tightens is different from the last model. This is a much smoother, easier way to tighten your kids into the bucket, which is great.
I also noticed that this is a little bit of a sturdier fabric, and it looks like it might even have some slip resistant finish to it. I know what it's like to be a busy mom, managing multiple schedules. Why do you ride this bike?
So having a cargo bike in New York City is critical for improving my efficiency. I use it to get my kids to school, to get my kids to their after school programming, groceries, friends. Like, I use this bike as I would use a car, right? And this is the ultimate car replacement. It allows me to efficiently, effectively get my kids from point A to point B, do all the mom things that I have to do, a million things a day. This really helps make that so much easier. So that's why I have this cargo bike. But I think another thing to point out about the importance of cargo biking is it's not just today, right? We're moms today, but we're really setting the stage for multi-generational change, right? We are normalizing for our kids a different way of transportation in America, right? We're a very car-centric country. These are an amazing way to normalize different ways of getting around. So our children will look at the cargo bike and say, well, that's how I got around. This is very normal to me.
Many of you may not know, but I live in the Florida Keys and in New York City, and I'm back and forth a lot. I ride every day for transport in New York City when I'm here. I apply that in the Florida Keys, which is a little bit interesting and it has its challenges, but it's allowed me to also get around in the most efficient way possible. And that's how I make my choice to ride, of what is most efficient.
We could also talk about how some of the features that are staying the same. The carbon belt, always great.
The bike actually comes standard with a 545 watt battery, but if you wish to purchase an additional battery for more range, it is also compatible with an 800 watt battery.
Okay, how far can we go on that?
The 545 watt hour battery will get between 30 and 60 miles range, depending upon your cargo load, your speed setting, the terrain. And then for the 800 watt hour battery, you can get anywhere between 60 to 100 miles range.
Another really great thing about the Urban Arrow FamilyNext is that it is eBike Flow app compatible, which is basically Bosch's security system. When you install the app and you install the module that goes with the app in the bike, you can GPS track your bike, you can lock your bike, you can do all these other things. So I'm gonna just show you me connecting it to my Flow app. You can see that it connects, can keep track of your bike, which allows for GPS, restricts the motor, sends alerts if somebody moves it. Really big benefits in terms of security and safety and peace of mind. Okay, so let's roll. So you can see we put 37 miles on it. Here's where you can set the lock and alarm. You can enable an e-lock. So we want to unlock our bike with the display, but you can also use your phone.
Which means that you would just place the display on to unlock the bike.
And the bike can't be started without the display, right? It
Correct.
can't really be started anyway, but without this one, it's been locked sort of internally. It can't work without the display. And so that's just another extra layer of comfort when it comes to peace of mind of keeping your bike safe, because security in New York City is something that people are really concerned about.
What are some other things that are important for security and keeping your bike secure in New York City?
I mean, I could talk about this all day. So one thing that we do is these bikes are really big. You know, it's not always something you can bring inside. Not everybody has the access to a garage or anything like that, especially in New York. So I actually keep my bikes outside year round in New York City, and I always use a really good lock. I like hip locks, but there's a lot of really great lock brands out there. I also use a motorcycle cover, and I keep my bike covered under a motorcycle cover that is then locked with zip ties at all times. And that, I think, is really important for making it invisible on the streets of New York City. The new upgrades to the Urban Arrow FamilyNext is awesome. I feel like we should go for a ride.
That's exactly what I was just about to say.
Let's do it.
Let's go for a ride.
Okay.
Today, we're riding without helmets, like the Dutch do. But of course, it's always recommended that you protect your noggin.
This is where it all started for me. I took my first test ride from your shop with the original Urban Arrow family cargo bike. And so it's so great to be here test riding the new Urban Arrow FamilyNext. It's pretty smooth, I'm not gonna lie. It's a very comfortable ride. Big difference from where it started for me, which was here on the original Urban Arrow family cargo.
Was that?
2019.
2019. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a much smoother feeling ride. I absolutely love that. It feels great to go over some of these holes and bumps, and yeah, well done, Urban Arrow.
Isn't it such a nice thing when you stop having to brace yourself for bumps? You're like, oh, okay, 100%. I don't have to brace myself anymore. So this was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. Thanks so much for having me down at Propel to test ride and talk about the new Urban Arrow FamilyNext. It is a really exciting upgrade to this, classic back feats that everybody loves. If you want to learn more or you have questions about cargo biking, be sure to follow me on Instagram at CargoBikeMama, MOMMA.
Or you can visit us in store. This will be available from test ride from June 17th on, and we're really looking forward to it. Visit our website. This YouTube video will have all the details in the description, and we're super excited. We hope you are too. We can't wait to see more people riding the FamilyNext.
That's right.
Thanks for watching.